Good morning, gang. It's Friday. Believe it or not, some of the biggest news of the week came out on a Thursday. Anybody remember that quote? I hope everybody does, that I posted at the beginning of the video. I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Martin Luther King. Yesterday, the Supreme Court issued their ruling on a lawsuit by a bunch of Asian students that were suing the Ivy League colleges for discrimination in admission. The Democrats are going completely ballistic about it because the Supreme Court ordered that colleges can no longer use race as a basis for admission to college. Now, between all the other stuff that's going on in the world, this is what is important. We look at the United States. We are probably one of the most, if not the most, ethnically diverse countries in the world. We are a melting pot. That was basically how this country was founded. Give us your tired, your poor, your weak, your huddled masses, right? And we welcomed people to come. Is the country's history perfect? No. Slavery was wrong. Slavery's been wrong throughout world history. And in case anybody wants to know, slavery continues in some countries today, and it's still wrong. Okay? But it ended in the United States 160 years ago. We had a bunch of Asian students sue the Ivy League colleges for their admissions issues. One of the things that was brought into evidence was this. This is Harvard's admission data. Now, I want you to take a look at this. If somebody graduated in the top 10% of their class, okay, the academic decile of 10, okay, what the admissions rate of those applicants was. Now, this is where this lawsuit came in. I want you to look at the fourth decile, which means you graduated in the top 60% of your class, or another way to put it, the bottom half, okay? If you were African American, 12.8% of the people that graduated in the bottom half of their class got accepted to Harvard. The reason the Asians sued, if you were in the top 10% of your class, less Asians were accepted to Harvard that graduated in the top 10% than if you were African American and in the bottom 50%. That's why the Supreme Court overturned affirmative action today, which is good. I've always been a believer in anybody gets out of something what they put into it. If you bust your ass in high school, you get 4-point grade point, you get 1,600 on your SATs, whatever would be, you're up top. Yeah, you deserve to be up there. But when you graduate with a 2.8 grade point, got 1,000 on your SATs, you shouldn't even be considering applying because you're not going to make it. Right? I'm on record many times saying that college for most people is a waste of money. I mean, if you're going into medicine, you're going into law, maybe if you're going into economics, that sort of stuff, those degrees are worthwhile. But getting a degree in philosophy or, I don't know, dance or something like that, Socrates is not, a job that somebody's getting anymore. I am a philosopher. Okay. Would you like fries with that? You send all these people to school, and we still have more than a 50% fail-out rate in college in the United States. We have a ton of people with student loans that used it to pay for beer money on the weekend and spring break in March. Okay? and they don't get an education, and then they whine that they've got six-figure student loans. You go back to the late 1970s, 1977. This was our president's comments. Look at this. Integrating black students would turn schools into a jungle, a racial jungle. That was what the current president of the United States said 45 years ago. Okay? But now he's rah, rah, rah. We've got to promote people based on the color of their skin, not on their ability. Kind of anti-Martin Luther King, right? But Joe's all for civil rights, but probably the greatest civil rights leader ever, Joe completely disagreed with. I'm going to give you this as an analogy. Let's take a professional baseball team, any of them, okay? And a team works their ass off, wins 102 games, wins the pennant, goes to the World Series. They worked hard. Maybe had a little bit of luck in there, not as many injuries or whatever, but they worked hard and they get to go to the World Series. Can you imagine a day? This is what the Democrats are pushing along the lines of. Well, our team finished with, 64 wins and 98 losses, or something like that. There's 162 games or somewhere thereabouts. But our team is mostly made up of this race, not that race. So we think we should get to go to the World Series instead of the team that got the 102 wins. Use that analogy because that's exactly what this is. The team or the person here who worked hard does not get the benefit, from the fruits of their labor, as the person who goes, I'm oppressed. Okay. And everybody will say to me, well, Joe said that 45 years ago. People evolve. True. There's things that I've changed my mind on in the last 45 years, no doubt. Okay. I want you to read something. This is a tweet put out by one of Joe Biden's staffers who is on the committee for Joe's reelection. Her name is Erica Marsh. This is what she posted on Twitter yesterday. Today's Supreme Court decision is a direct attack on Black people. No Black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system, which is exactly why affirmative action-based programs were needed. Today's decision is a travesty. No Black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system? Are you kidding me? If you work hard, you can get somewhere in life. If you're a perpetual victim, I don't care what race, you will get nowhere in life. Do not tell me that no Black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system, because I can think of 2 Black Supreme Court justices right now. Okay. I can think of a Black vice president right now. Before anybody says anything, think about this. There's only been, 46 or 47 vice presidents in the history of the country? Okay, remember we had a couple during Gerald Ford, stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, there's more vice presidents than our presidents. We had our first Black president, who was the immediate predecessor to the current president in their party. Okay. We have Black congressmen. We have Black congresswomen. We have Black senators. Okay. We have plenty of Black business owners, Black CEOs, Black millionaires, Black billionaires. Okay. Why? Because they worked for it. I can't stand LeBron James, okay, at all. Okay, not a basketball fan at all. I think as a person, his head is completely screwed up. But he worked hard to get where he is. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's worth a boatload of money. And it ain't all from playing basketball. He's a smart businessman. You can look at a lot of people along those names. I bring those two up just for the simple reason that everybody knows who they are. Okay? But think of it this way. Tom Brady, begrudgingly, I'll say probably the greatest quarterback ever. Sorry, Peyton Manning, I'm still on your team. Are you going to take away his accomplishments? I mean, that was a 6th round draft choice. Almost Mr. Irrelevant. Who happened to go to 9 or 10 Super Bowls and win 7 of them. I think it was something along those lines. Okay. But did anybody ever come up and say, sorry, Tom, you can't be quarterback because you're white. We need to put a black guy in instead. There's been black quarterbacks, Cam Newton, Doug Williams. There's a couple that have won. Great. Okay. The one who put the work in was the one who got the benefit from the fruits of their labors. But no matter what happens, the liberals are screaming, it's got to be racism. It's got to be racism. This is terrible. You have to give us something. Why? Because you don't want to work for it? I'm sorry. The person who works for it, I don't care if they're Asian, Hispanic, black, or white, earns it. If the way Harvard's set up right now, and it was based on merit, okay, based on who had the best scores, I don't care if it went Asian, 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 black, white, Hispanic, and you're the 11th person and you can't get in. You want to get in? Beat the Hispanic guy. Beat the white guy. Beat the black guy. Beat any of the Asians that are, have better grades, have a better SAT score. Put the work in. That's how you make it in this world. You put the effort in. And those who do reap the rewards. Those who don't. We have too many people in this country in high power positions, let's leave it that way, that only want to play the race card. Let's take the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. Eric Adams is a black man. Okay? He is the mayor of New York City, probably the most prestigious non-federal political job in the country, maybe the world. Mayor of New York City. Okay? I bet we could all name a couple of mayors of New York City, and I bet there's a few people that probably couldn't even name their own mayor. Okay? But, we know Ed Koch. We know Rudy Giuliani. We know Bill de Blasio. We know those names. Okay? I couldn't name one mayor in Houston. I can't name the mayor of Knoxville. I don't live in Knoxville, but I couldn't name, but I know who's the mayor of New York City. I want you to watch this. This is what Eric Adams thinks of the people, the white woman who questioned him yesterday. Watch this.
Okay, first, if you're going to ask a question, don't point at me and don't be disrespectful to me. I'm the mayor of this city, and treat me with the respect I deserve to be treated. I'm speaking to you as an adult. Don't stand in front like you treated someone that's on the plantation that you own. Give me the respect I deserve and engage in a conversation up here in Washington Heights. Treat me with the same level of respect I treat you. So don't be pointing at me. Don't be disrespectful to me. Speak with me as an adult because I'm a grown man. I walked into this room as a grown man, and I'm going to walk out of this room as a grown man. I answered your question. Go to
the plantation? Really? This woman is complaining about rent prices in New York City. I don't think she had ever had any aspirations to be a slave owner. Never did she refer to you as anything derogatory, but you had the audacity to play the race card, which is about the only thing the Democrats have left, and say this to her. May I remind you, Mayor Adams, you work for us, not the other way around. I don't live in New York City, but that woman who was questioning you there is your boss. You are not hers. You are responsible to answer her. She has a question. You have an obligation to answer it. Period. You think that's the only one? I want you to watch this clip. This was a state senator in Milwaukee yesterday. I want you to hear her comment.
Fuck the suburbs, because they don't know a goddamn thing about how life is in the city.
Really? That kind of language on the floor of the state Senate, and the idiocy to say they don't know a thing about life in the city. Yeah, you know what? I'm betting a lot of them work in the city. I'm betting a lot of them may have lived in the city. And you know what they did? They worked their way out of the poverty and the crime that is the city of Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a shithole. All right. People strive to get out. There's nobody that's going, hey, you know what? I want to go move to the ghetto. No, even the people that live there are trying to make it better, get out, or are criminals. That's it. Okay. There isn't any other option. Nobody's going, you know what? Staying in this government subsidized housing is my career aspiration. This is where I want to be my entire life. No, it's not. This isn't really a prepping video. This is a commentary on where the country is. After MLK made that speech that I referenced at the beginning, race relations got much, much, much better in the United States over the course of the next 60 years, until Barack Obama was elected. And then Barack Obama had a chip on his shoulder and wanted to drag us right back into the 1940s, the 1950s. Joe Biden doesn't have two brain cells to put together. I mean, hell, he walked off an interview yesterday in the middle of it. He said that Putin is losing the war in Iraq. I mean, pick a day and Joe says something stupid. Does something stupid, falls off a bicycle, falls up the stairs. I mean, it's like we need a bingo card with what's Joe going to do today and see who wins. But the Democrat Party has driven a wedge so far racially into the heart of this country. I don't know if there's any way coming back. There was screaming and yelling yesterday in reparations, all the reparations arguments you guys know about, where now you have groups saying we need a national divorce and that we want half the land of the United States. That's what one man, Barack Obama, and his puppets have done to this country. When I served in the Army, I had white guys, Asian guys, Hispanic guys, Pacific Islanders, and black guys. My company commander was Hispanic. My platoon sergeant at one point was black. I wound up working with a couple of the other platoons, and blacks, Hispanics, Asians, whatever it would be. And you know what? We all worked together fine. We didn't see race. This was the 1980s, guys. We didn't see race. We saw fellow soldier. We saw the rank on their collar. Respect was given where respect was earned. Okay? Yes, you got the rank on your collar for your hard work. And if everybody respected that hard work, you got the respect you deserved. If you didn't do the work and you got it because of this color of your skin, you wouldn't have lasted long those days. And I think a lot of you guys that are vets can agree with me. I remember the names of a lot of people I served with. I remember what they looked like too. Whether they were black, whether they were Hispanic, whether they were white, didn't matter. They were all green. It's time we go back to judging people on the content of their character and not on the color of the skin. And one of these days, the dumbasses in the Democrat Party will realize that the true racists in this country are the ones they look at in the mirror every day. Roll out.